Hello, English learners. In today's video, we are going to go over 7 more terms used by Black Americans. In my last video on expressions used by Black Americans, some of you all asked for a few more, a part 2, and I listened. So here it is. Let's get into it. Our first term is child. Child.
Child, it's just another way of saying the word child. And no, it's not the South American country Chile. It's child. And it's an exclamation that you might say when you are in disbelief, when you are shocked, when you are annoyed, when you are angry. So it's usually when you have a negative emotion. This is usually said to someone who is younger or maybe the same age as you. You wouldn't say this to your elder or someone in authority. So if you are talking to your son or daughter and they are playing too loudly, you might say, "Calm down, child." Or if your friend tells you that they are quitting their job and moving to some tropical island, you might say, "Ooh, child, it's a shocking revelation, right?"
Next we have bougie. Bougie.
Bougie is a term that you might already be familiar with. It's always been a pretty common term in the Black community here in the US. But more and more Americans are starting to add it to their lexicon. So, bougie is an adjective that describes a person who is overly concerned with material things. Having nice clothes, or a nice home, or a nice car, maybe. And oftentimes they might look down on or might treat people who are not of a high class or who don't have nice things like them bad. Not all the time, but sometimes we call these people bougie. So I could say, Jane doesn't dine in at fast food restaurants. She's too bougie for that.
And then Sadity. Sadity.
So, sadity is another term that we use that has a similar meaning to bougie. And I think this word might be used more by millennials, Gen X, older. It basically means the same thing as bougie, but it has even more of a negative connotation to it. If you are sadity, you are probably arrogant or think you are better than others. You look at others in a disapproving way because they are not as high class. So I could say, she would never talk to those poor people over there. You know how sadity she is.
To kick it. What does it mean to kick it?
And then we have kick it, okay? And it is a fun term. Some people just might classify it as maybe African American slang. And it means to spend one's time doing nothing serious. Hanging out is a synonym, and usually you kick it with other people. Okay, so I could say, we didn't go out to a restaurant or party, we just kicked it in the backyard.
Next up, you're a trip. You're a trip.
So if I say you're a trip, it means you're silly, you're funny, you're comical, you're outrageous. It could be used in a negative or a positive way. So if your friend is constantly playing pranks on you, you might tell them, "You're a trip." Or if you see someone running across the street naked, we call that streaking. You might say, "That guy is a trip."
Next, you're better than me. You're better than me.
So we say, "You're better than me" when someone else responds positively to a situation that you might have responded negatively to. Okay, so I will give you a long example. You are at a nice restaurant that has valet, right? So, valet are those people who park your car for you and you give them a tip or pay for that sort of service. Okay. And then you give off your car to the valet and then go into the nice restaurant and have a delicious meal. And then you leave the restaurant and approach the valet and ask them for your car. And then the valet person looks and looks and looks for about 20 minutes and they can't find your car. They somehow lost your car. And instead of getting upset, you calmly tell them that you will help them look for it. Okay? You responded in a very understanding way, a very good way. But if you told me that story, I would have said, "You're better than me," because I'm sure I wouldn't have responded so kindly to the valet, right? "You are better than me."
And lastly, hot mess. A hot mess.
A hot mess is a huge mess, a disaster, very disorderly or disorganized, okay? And it can describe a person, a thing, a place, or even a situation. So, for example, you might say, "His outfit is a hot mess. It's disorderly. Everything is mismatched." Or I could say, "This party is a hot mess. It's unorganized." Or I could say, "This Walmart is a hot mess." Okay? It's just a way we put emphasis on the word mess. We just add the word hot before it.
That is the end of today's video on 7 more expressions used by Black Americans. If you found this video useful, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it entertaining maybe, give me a like, subscribe to this channel if you'd like more vocabulary lessons like this, and until next time, English learners.